Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Tent. We got a great episode for you today. We had two pretty good questions come in, and I wanted to answer both of them. We had, how do you know when is the proper time to flip the flower? I thought that was a great question, and I'm going to go into a little bit more depth with it today than just my normal wait till 50% of your canopy's covered or your floor cover is covered and then flip it to flower. So we're going to go a tiny bit more in depth in there to accommodate for some people that aren't as good at growers as others. And then the other one was about the second time that you're going to be topping, or people that are topping too often, or what we're looking for. We actually had a great video on this in the past, but I guess some people still don't quite understand it, so we're going to go over it again and what we're looking for. All right, so that's what our topics for today are. Guys, remember, please leave the video a like, comment, subscribe. All that helps the channel and the algorithm reach out to new people, and we know how much YouTube doesn't allow us to want to put us in the algorithm. So any of you do any of that stuff, it is much appreciated. Also, guys, our merch store went live on Friday, and we sold just under 600 t-shirts in like 20 minutes. It's like 30 minutes, but 20 minutes sounds cooler. But we completely sold out. I bought 600 shirts with all 3 new badass designs and a bunch of new cool tent slaps and stuff like that. And within 30 minutes, every size, I think there's only like 2 smalls left on the whole site, but we sold out of shirts in a record amount of time. So that was really, really awesome. Big thanks to all the Patreons and everybody jumped on there. There is some stuff left, and you can find it at WTTGT.com. All orders over $30 come with free gifts, free prizes. You never know what you're going to get. So you might want to check it out. All right, guys, let's get today's episode started. If you haven't joined my Patreon, you should think about it. Best Patreon in the game and one of the biggest. We've made some of the biggest, baddest growers that you've ever seen, and I've got a Discord full of them, so you should check it out. All right, let's get today's episode going. We're done talking. All right, let's go. Come on, GT, let's go. Woo! We are back. We're back. It's been a few minutes since the first video. Not too terribly long, or since the first half of the video, the intro, the ads, stuff like that. Guys, remember the Mars Hydro ad, if you're looking for it. It'll be at the end of the video now. What do we got today? All right, so we said we had 2 questions that we were going to go over that I was, I'd read them in the comments, and the way I pick the questions for the show is I get a bunch of topics or a bunch of questions on the same topic. Usually try to hit a video on it so we can broadcast it out, because I figure if that many people are having a question about it, might as well send it out to everybody, see if we can help a bunch of people out. All right. And usually it can kind of lighten my workload for about a week because then they're like, oh yeah, you just made a video on that. All right, so on plant topping, I just want to do a real quick topic on this. So let's say this is your plant and it looks like a stick. And then this is your top on your plant. And whenever you're first growing, you'll have, you know what, I can put sticky notes on here. Got a top here. We'll color code them so that they make more sense. You got a top here. And you have the top of the plant up here. All right. So you have, YouTube's so dumb. I used to be able to just do this with plants. So you have your plant here, and you have a nodal site here at blue, a nodal site here at orange, and a nodal site, which is the very top nodal site, up here at green. God, YouTube. God, I used to be able to just do this with plants, and it was just fine. But if I do it with plants, nobody will see it because they'll hide the video. All right, so you've got your top up here. You got another site down here and another site down here. And at these lower sites, they have fan leaves, which will be the big lines with the stars on the end. And then they have little nodal sites, which will become future branches. Okay, so now that we've got everything on here, so we have the very top site with the very top, the fan leaves, and then you'll have these little leaves that are coming out right here, which will become your new sites. And if you start at the top, and then you can see we've got node sites all the way down, if you can see past the glare on the blue one. So now this is what we have as our seedling. I know this is exaggerated big, but you know, we got to be able to see it. So if we top here, then these little leaves right here in the corners, they'll be in the corners right here attached to the stalk. They will grow up into new branches. Yeah. And then instead of having this one main top that's getting all the growth hormone and the plant keeps growing straight up like a stick, you not topping, you know, a lot of times you'll see your plants just keep growing straight up vertically. But whenever we top it, we redistribute the growth hormone to the lower branches, and then your plant starts to come out like a bush instead of a stick. Now, once we've done that where we've topped the plant once, what you'll see is where those top two sites were, they will start growing off in a V. And then I gotta get my dare ruler, dare to keep kids off drugs. And then we'll have a plant that's shaped like this, where this was the old site where we topped at. Remember this is what it used to look like right here. And then those two little lines that we had where the leaves were coming out of the corner, they will grow up like this. And then as they grow up like this, you will get, that's not the sticky part. You will get new tops. There's a sticky part. Okay, there's a sticky part. You will get new tops that look, there we go, everyone's sticky. So we've got, it's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down. So you get new tops on there that look like this. Now, and everybody's like, okay, well, I've got new tops here, and here. It's a week later, I must be ready to top them again. But what I want to point out to you is this. Whenever you're going in for your second topping, if there is nothing down branch, so if you've just got this top, whenever you first top them, they'll come out like this V, just like this. And then they'll form the new tops at the top of them. Whenever you do this, if there is nothing from the top of this branch to the V where you last trained them, and instead of being the one stick, they split into two, and now they grew up like this. If there is nothing from that original topping site to the new site, you do not top them again. You figure out some other kind of training. A lot of times we will super crop them, like here, and bend them down so that they catch up with the canopy of the lower branches that were down at this level. And now, instead of having a plant where we have stuff up here, and then another set of branches down here, and then another set down here, now we have these, and we've bent them over to where they are the same height as branches that were coming up on the lower side. And now we have a plant that has everything in a line. But if your plant has nothing from the original site to the top of the plant, it's just the stick, you do not top it. If you look at our old videos, what do we say? You have to block out the rest of the plant, because I know it can get confusing whenever you're looking at a whole plant. You're like, oh, well, they've got new tops on them, I can top them. It's not the correct answer. You have to block out the rest of the plant and put your hands up and be like, okay, look, here is my new plant. Here is a single plant. Don't think of it as a cumulative thing yet when you're looking to top for the second time. Individualize each branch. And if there is nothing from the top of the plant, don't fall off the top to the old training site. Damn it, topped itself. If there is nothing from here to here, you do not top them. Because remember, one of the things we're looking for whenever we're topping is what is our lower growth doing. And if you don't have a plant that has its lower growth sites, we don't top them, okay? So what I'm seeing a lot with people is when that second topping is when they're ready for that, after their first topping and the branches have come out and they're ready to top again, they're topping them when they look like this. And what happens is whenever you top a plant that only has a top on it that looks like a palm tree, palm trees don't have any other branches except for at the top. If your branch looks like a palm tree where it's just got the top on it and then it's a stick, you don't top them, because what will happen is, and I know a lot of you guys' plants look like this, you'll have a V here with a top and then nothing. And then you'll top this one, okay, and then your next top over here, you'll get 2 more V's here and here off this branch, and then here and here off this branch. And all you have is a plant with, maybe, 8 to 10 branches, but it has nothing on the inside of it. It has nothing but the tops on each of the branch. So you have a plant that has just a bunch of V's where you've trained it out, but all you have is the tops on them. You only top when there is growth down branch. So if you have a branch that looks like this, where it's just this, you let it grow up and out. Because what will happen is, as this one grows up, this nodal site will still be here. And as it keeps growing, it will get new nodal sites. And then it'll keep growing. And it'll get new nodal sites. And now look at your branch. Since you waited to top, this isn't the spot you would top anymore. Since the new stuff grew out of the old branch. See, now that's not your top side anymore. Now you will go up branch to the new top of the plant. And look, you're like, okay, I'm blocking out my plant. What am I going to do? Okay, I see top growth. I see the little lines growing on the main stalk. These will be the new branches. I see it. I've got stuff below it. Even if there's only 2, a lot of people like to wait till there's 3 nodal sites. Now I have what I need below, because it's not just a stick with a palm tree on the top. Now I have, when I look down branch, I have what I need to top the plant again, which will cause these now to come out. And what will happen is you will stop getting these empty plants in the middle where all you have is this top 6-inch, 8-inch canopy, which causes you to get like colas like this, where it's just like, little colas on the top of your branch. And you're like, wait, I'm missing all this weight, GT. What am I doing wrong? And a lot of it is you're going a little bit overboard with the training. You're not really training them the way you're supposed to be training them. And if you just wait and let that all fill in like that from the original topping and let them grow out, let them grow up, and then you get more nodal sites. Now, instead of having that empty center of the plant in those short canopies, now you will have full canopies, and you will have big colas on the top like GT does, instead of little colas on the top like you're getting with no down. How do you know when to flip to flower? What are you looking for? And because people are at different skill levels at which they grow, this kind of, it changes a little bit on plant size. But my general answer is, whenever you take your plants and you push them to one side and you cover half, you can't see half the floor. So 50% of your floor is covered. That's whenever you're going to flip to flower, because generally these plants will double in size during the first 3 weeks of flower, which is what we call the stretch. And if you're at 50% and they double in size, now you're at 100%. But if you're really, really brand new to this, sometimes whenever you hit 50% floor coverage, 50% is a great starting spot. That's where I'll tell everybody to start. But if you constantly see yourself, whenever you flip at 50%, that like, oh, I only get like 90%, I only get like 85% of floor coverage whenever I'm flipping at 50%. You can bump that number up a little bit. Instead of flipping at 50%, you can flip it at like 60%. You can get 60% floor coverage and then flip it. Hopefully don't double in size, because you double 60, now you're at 120% of floor coverage, and that doesn't exist because the tent is only, got so much square footage. So you can play around with that number just a touch. But what you'll find is, as you become better and better grower, you'll be dropping that back down to 50%. Especially if you're going to be running fewer plants than you normally would. Like, let's say you usually run 6 plants in a 4x4. And now you're thinking, well, I really want to drop it down to 4 plants in a 4x4, because you'll get the exact same weight, whether you're growing 6 plants or 1 plant. As long as you fill out your canopy and have the proper depth of canopy, your end weight will be identical no matter if you ran 1 plant or if you ran 6 plants, because the limiting factor is not your plant count, because we are in a limited combined space or a confined space. The limiting factor is your space, not your plant count. Now, if you're outside, the more plants you have, the bigger they are, the more weight you get. So that does work for outside. But whenever you're inside, that same thing doesn't work. So what you'll do is, whenever you reduce your plant count from 6 to 4, a really good way to do this is, instead of flipping at 50%, take them up to 60%. Get 60% floor coverage and then flip them. Because you know what? If it gets way too crowded on there, you can always strip off branches. It's not a big deal. Just chop off some branches to make yourself some extra room. I would suggest taking the stuff that's a little bit lower and wider. Get yourself a little bit more room. Or you can just pull a plant. You're like, oh, this has got way too crowded. These things are getting gigantic. Like if you're growing cherry atomic sledgehammer by some really cool, breeder. And you're like, well, these things got way too big and they're too beautiful and I don't want to kill it. So you can actually just pull that plant out, throw it back into a veg space if you got it. If you don't have a veg space, you could literally just throw it into a regular room, throw it in the corner with a little, T5 light above it. You can find off, Craigslist for $50, or probably even cheaper now. Or you've got an old light or whatever, you can just hang it up. It doesn't even need to go in a tent. Just put it out in your kitchen like it's a freaking fern. It'll be just fine. And if it's summertime, it'll be even better, because then you don't have that night cycle where it gets darker quicker. All right, so that'd be my tip for when to flip your garden to flower, especially if you're having a problem with the stretch and it not filling all your tin all the way out. Just veg them a little bit longer, maybe another week or so. Get that little bit of extra so that whenever they do go through the stretch, you fill out your gardens completely. Canopy growth. All right, I think that's good for today, guys. We had a great episode. Stay tuned for this commercial from Mars Hydro, or don't. But if you like a Mars Hydro light and get an extra discount, use our code WTTGT. I'll see you later. GT out. Peace. If you're looking for any kind of new light, new tint, anything like that, Mars Hydro is the main sponsor of the channel. No matter what size tint you have, no matter what light you need, what your budget is, they have a light or a tint or pretty much, they make all the equipment now. Any piece of equipment that you would want or need, they have in stock. And if you use the code WTTGT, you get an extra discount whenever you check out. So if you're thinking about buying anything, any kind of new stuff, please think about checking out Mars Hydro, and they'll hook you up. All right.